supposed to hate Harry and Meghan again today because the house that the late Queen, gifted them, and upon which Harry spent £2.3 million of his own money, has now been confiscated by King Charles. Imagine if you were writing this story from a point of view of not having had your brain boiled by the fact that Prince Harry fell in love with a woman of colour, right? So just pretend that the world hadn't been redefined, or your attitude to the royal family hadn't been redefined by right-wing media apoplectic about the fact that Prince Harry turned the entire pyramid of privilege in this country on his head by falling in love with an actual woman of colour, right? So, and King Charles was currently much more under attack than his sons, okay? Because he used to be very much under attack for the appalling way in which his late wife and Prince Harry's mum was treated, and indeed the way in which the now Queen was insinuated into public life, having her reputation completely rehabilitated thanks to collusion with newspapers, which was, I think seeing her sit down for a meal with Jeremy Clarkson shortly before Jeremy Clarkson wrote that article about Meghan Markle, which reports today suggest might see him deemed surplus to requirements over at ITV, tells you everything you need to know about the nature of those relationships and those quid pro quos. So just imagine that Charles was persona non grata with the right-wing media, and that he had betrayed. This is how you'd write it. Charles betrays his late mother's wishes by depriving Harry of a home in England's green and pleasant land. I'd add that bit as well, a little bit of William Blake there. You can almost hear Hubert Parry tuning up in the background. Cruel Charles, callous Charles. I can't quite get the alliteration. Just sounds a tricky. Cheesy doesn't work. So cruel Charles betrays. Cruel Charles betrays late Queen's wishes by stealing Harry's home. Second line. Harry and Meghan denied place in England's green and pleasant land by jealous parent. You see how it would work? Because the Queen gave them a house and he's taken it away. So betraying the late Queen's wishes. That is how Cherished Charles. Thank you. Cherished Charles? Yeah, Cherished Charles. It's tricky that because you're weighing up the alliteration with the stronger adjective. So cruel Charles is much stronger. Cherished Charles. Cherished Charles works pretty well, actually. Cherished Charles steals Harry's house. There it is. Cherished Charles steals Harry's house. Second line, late Queen cruelly betrayed by brutal eviction. That's the story, by the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about. Cherished Charles has stolen Harry's house. The late Queen wanted him to have it. He spent 2.3 million quid tarting it up, and money he repaid actually to the public purse after stepping down from royal duties. And lo and behold, Charles has demonstrated according to newspapers, he's demonstrated, let me tell you what the Daily Mail have to say about it, because we could always do with a laugh. Charles evicting Harry and Meghan from Frogmore is the act of a king putting his country first. I love showing you how twisted the media is, because if you're not an anorak like me, you probably don't notice. So that headline could easily be exactly the same story. Cherished Charles steals Harry's house. Late Queen betrayed by brutal eviction. That exactly the same story, right? But the invitation to hate in recent years has involved Harry and Meghan, because much of the British media continues to favour a man who paid millions of pounds to a sex trafficking victim who accused him of multiple sex crimes than it does to a man who had the audacity to fall in love with a woman of colour. We've got it. Callous King. Callous King steals Harry's house. That's come from Grant. He's doing a shift as a sub-editor today. Home is better than house. Thank you. We're doing this together. Callous King steals Harry's home. Brutal betrayal of late Queen's wishes. That's it, right? Callous King steals Harry's home. Brutal betrayal of late Queen's wishes. And then you'd have people like Amanda Platel writing articles about how terrible he's trampling upon the grave of his beloved mother. It's so awful. It's just pathetic. It is absolutely, it's the infantilization of a nation. I mean, it's been underway for hundreds of years, but occasionally the absurdity, the hypocrisy, the base corruption of it is so irresistible that it can't help sticking its head above the parapet. Callous King steals Harry's home. There it is. So, sorry, that was just a little diversion into who the invitation to hate is being issued to. Who are we supposed to hate today, Keith? Harry and Meghan again, James. Okay, thank you.
Welcome back to Meghan and Harry Tales, your go-to channel for dissecting the media's endless fascination and often vitriol towards the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. I'm your host, Kelly. Today, we're diving into a topic that highlights the double standards and twisted narratives surrounding Harry and Meghan yet again. This time, it's all about Frogmore Cottage, a symbol of independence for the Sussexes, now snatched away in a move that reeks of pettiness and hypocrisy. Let's unpack the latest outrage with clarity, truth, and a pinch of satire. Frogmore Cottage. Gifted by the late Queen Elizabeth herself, this home symbolised a gesture of support for Harry and Meghan's new life. Harry even spent £2.3 million of his own money refurbishing it, money he repaid to the public purse after stepping back from royal duties. Now, in a move that can only be described as vindictive, King Charles has evicted them. And the media? Oh, they're loving it. James O'Brien hit the nail on the head when he highlighted the absurdity of it all. Imagine if this story were told differently, if Harry and Meghan weren't the perpetual scapegoats of the right-wing press. The headlines could have read, "Cruel Charles betrays late Queen's wishes," or "Callous King steals Harry's home." Instead, we're treated to headlines like, "King Charles puts his country first by evicting Harry and Meghan." It's laughable if it weren't so tragic. Let's rewrite the narrative for a moment. Picture this. The late Queen's wishes disregarded, her grandson exiled from his rightful home, and a nation outraged. Wouldn't that be the angle if the target weren't Harry and Meghan? But no. We live in a media landscape where a man who dared to fall in love with a woman of colour is vilified more than another man who paid millions to settle allegations of sex trafficking. Make it make sense. This isn't just about a house. It's about control, punishment, and the media's relentless campaign to paint Harry and Meghan as villains. How else do you justify evicting a family from their home while claiming it's putting the country first? This is the same media machine that once demonised King Charles himself during the Diana years. But now, they've conveniently rehabilitated his image, aligning him with their anti-Sussex agenda. It's clear, the invitation to hate has been reissued. And the recipients, Harry and Meghan, again. At what point do we, as a society, stop and question this madness? The infantilization of a nation, feeding on manufactured outrage and hypocritical narratives, must end. Harry and Meghan are humans, parents, philanthropists, and yes, victims of a deeply flawed system. So let's flip the script. Let's call out the hypocrisy, the corruption, and the endless witch hunt. And let's continue to stand by those who dare to challenge the status quo, even when it costs them everything. That's all for today on Meghan and Harry Tales. We hope this deep dive into the Frogmore Cottage controversy not only informed you, but also sparked some important questions about fairness, double standards, and the ever-evolving media narratives around the Sussexes. Here's the thing. Harry and Meghan's journey has been nothing short of extraordinary. Their courage to challenge tradition, reject toxicity, and carve out their own path is inspiring to so many. But it's also a reminder of how change is often met with resistance, especially from those who fear losing power or control. We believe it's crucial to keep these conversations going. Let's call out the hypocrisy, question the motives, and stand in solidarity with those who dare to defy outdated systems. And remember, this isn't just about Harry and Meghan. It's about creating a culture where truth, equity, and humanity come first. If you enjoyed today's episode, we'd love for you to join our growing community. Hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the bell icon so you never miss an update. Don't forget to share this episode with friends who care about justice, fairness, and getting to the heart of the story. Thank you for being here, for caring, and for standing with us as we continue to shine a light on the Sussexes' journey and the challenges they face. Until next time, stay curious, stay critical, and as always, stand with the Sussexes.